Howdy Hearthstoners, I'm Doc Awesome, and today we're going to play some Shaman. Shaman's got a lot of cool new toys in the Grand Tournament expansion, so I built a deck around them. I call this one Totemic Blight, because it's centered around keeping the board full of totems, and then buffing those totems so that you can push for a lot of damage in the late game. Now, don't let my clever name fool you. There is still no copies of Totemic Might in here because it turns out that buffing all of your totems for +2 health is still not worth a card. You would have to use both of them to get your totems out of Flame Strike range, and honestly, totems only cost 2 mana, so protecting them against Flame Strike is not a priority. There are many other more useful cards that you want in your deck. Like, for instance, Earth Shock. This is a 1 mana card. It silences a minion and then deals 1 damage to it. Silence is a very useful effect to have in your deck. It gets rid of powerful enchantments and effects on other creatures. You can use it to bypass a taunt. And not only does it silence, but it deals that 1 extra damage, which is key. It's a 1 mana card that can kill a Twilight Drake instantly. Or it could kill a Silverhand recruit that's been buffed by Blessing of Kings. Very, very useful card. We also have 2 Rockbiter weapons. This buffs a friendly character by 3 attack for 1 turn. It only lasts for 1 turn, so definitely wait to use that until you're ready to attack. But it is very versatile because not only can you apply it to a minion, you can also apply it to yourself and then hit something with your face in order to save your minions. Very useful card in the early game. You pretty much always want to keep a Rockbiter in your opening hand if you get it. We also have 1 Lowly Squire. This guy's here because I figure you need at least one drop, and I don't have all of the Naxxramas wings, so I don't have Zombie Chow. I would probably replace him with Zombie Chow if I had it, but I don't. And his Inspire trigger gives him +1 attack every time you use your hero power, and we are going to use our hero power a lot with this deck. So you could get a surprising amount of value out of the Lowly Squire. It's also a high priority target, and your opponent may waste some powerful cards trying to get rid of this 1-drop, and then they won't have them for the more powerful stuff we play later on. We have 2 Flame Tongue Totems, a staple of all kinds of Shaman decks. It buffs the minions on either side with +2 attack. You use this to help your early game minions trade up and kill something bigger than them. Very, very useful, and it also gets buffed by all of the other cards we have that buff totems. We have 2 Haunted Creepers, one of the best 2-drops in the game. It's not very threatening, but when it dies, it does leave behind 2 somethings, which can then easily get buffed by the Flame Tongue Totem, or the Defender of Argus, or any other number of things we have in here. But the 1 2-drop that I think dethrones the Haunted Creeper is the Totem Golem. You get 3 attack, 4 health. Those are 3-drop stats for only 2 mana. It does overload you for 1, but that is not really all that consequential in the early game unless you're foolish enough to coin him out. Don't use the coin to play the Totem Golem, because then you only have 1 mana on turn 2, and that is a problem. Probably the only instance in which that would be a good idea is if you're up against a druid who innervates out a Yeti or something like that. But in general, one of the better 2-drops in the game. Not only will it kill pretty much any other 2-drop, it can kill most 3-drops as well. We also have 2 Hexes. This is a very valuable removal spell. It takes any minion, no matter how big it is, what effect it has, Divine Shield, doesn't matter. Hex turns it into a harmless frog with only 1 health that can be easily killed. It's useful as both a silence and removal. It's a key spell. We also have 2 Lightning Storms. This is our big area of effect spell that we can use to clear the board if it gets out of control. Unlike every other class's area of effect, it's not all that reliable because it does a variable amount of damage. And quite often you will find that it deals 2 when you really need it to deal 3. It also overloads you for 2, so make sure you've planned ahead on your next turn and figured out what you can actually play if you're 2 mana short. Otherwise, you could run into a problem where you clear the board and are unable to play anything else on the next turn, which is a position you really don't want to be in after you wipe the board clean. If you can, ideally, you want to save your lightning storms for when you've got a spell damage totem on the board. That way you're at least guaranteed 3. We also have 2 Mana Tide totems. These provide our main draw engine in this deck. You're going to empty your hand pretty quick in the early game, so the Mana Tide totem will help you refuel. At the end of each turn, it'll draw you a card. Although it has 0 attack value, it is a totem, so it can get buffed by a lot of the other stuff that we have in this deck. And it's also a high priority target, so if you have a big nasty minion out on the board that you really want to live through to the next turn, you can throw down a Mana Tide totem and your opponent will likely waste whatever removal spell or silence on that instead. It sucks that you'll lose the card draw, but you would much rather have your 0/3 totem get silenced than, say, your Mookla's Champion or Thunderbluff Valiant. We also have 2 Tuskar Totemic. While a 3/2 for 3 mana is less than ideal, he does summon a random totem when he hits the board, and he can summon a second copy of a totem you already have in play, so you can end up with, say, 2 spell damage totems, which is awesome. There's also a pretty high chance that you'll get either a Flame Tongue or a Totem Golem without the overload drawback, so Tuskar can be pretty clutch. And since our main win condition revolves around keeping the board full of totems that then get buffed, Tuskar is invaluable to making sure that you still have some totems on the board. Since the Grand Tournament has been out for a while, people have started to get hip to the whole Totem Shaman thing, so they will clear your totems more often than not. But Tuskar makes it so that you have too many targets to get rid of at once, which is very useful. We have 2 Defenders of Argus. Since we're going to be summoning a lot of totems with 0 attack value, Defender is what helps us weaponize them. When you play him, the minions on either side of him get +1/+1 and taunt. So not only will they be able to attack, but your opponent will have to waste 2 attacks getting rid of them before they can hit what they really want to. Incredibly useful. We also have 2 Piloted Shredders because, let's face it, that's the best way you can possibly spend 4 mana in the game. Even with the new expansion, nothing has dethroned the Piloted Shredder as the 4-drop of choice. It has 4 attack, 3 health, and when it dies, it leaves something behind. And most of the time, it's something pretty useful. I can only think of maybe 3 or 4 things you might get out of a Piloted Shredder that could totally screw you, and those are pretty good odds to take. Plus, it's also a high priority target for silences and other removal spells, so hopefully the Piloted Shredder will bait one of those out so your opponent won't have it to use against one of our bigger drops that we have later. We also have 2 Mookla's Champion. It's the same stats for 1 more mana, so that's not great, but it does have the Inspire trigger of buffing all your other minions, all of them, +1/+1. If Mookla lives for more than 1 turn, your opponent is going to be looking at a pretty nasty board. And unlike the Thunderbluff Valiant, Mookla buffs all minions, not just your totems. So it's a great way to weaponize your totems and get more value out of your other minions. Plus, he is also another high priority target. Ideally, you want to wait and play this guy till turn 7 so that you can actually use your hero power and get the buff, because your opponent is definitely going to do everything he can to get rid of this the next turn. We also have 2 Thunderbluff Valiants. I think this is my favorite one out of the new expansion. It's a 3/6. 6 health is good. That means it's really hard to remove in one turn without using more than one minion or possibly a fireball. And if this guy eats a fireball, so much the better for you. Then they won't have it to use against your fire elementals or Neptulon. He has 3 attack, so he can deal with some of the early game, but the key here is his Inspire trigger, which gives all of your totems +2 attack. That's like a mini Bloodlust every turn for 2 mana. And this effect works on the totem that you just summoned as well. So you get an immediate buff, another card you kind of want to wait till at least turn 7 to play, but honestly, a 3/6 on turn 5 is not all that bad. If you have nothing else to play, Thunderbluff Valiant is not a terrible choice. And then we have the Fire Elemental, another Shaman staple because it's one of the better 6-drops in the game. 6 attack, 5 health, and when it hits the board it deals 3 damage. Most likely you'll be able to kill something because flooding the board with tons of cheap little minions and going straight aggro is very popular right now. A Fire Elemental will kill pretty much anything a Hunter or Aggro Pally will play against you. And even if there's nothing worth killing, it'll whittle something down to a more so that it can be killed by one of your 2 or 3 drops. Very, very useful minion. And then finally we have Neptulon, the Shaman class legendary, 7 attack, 7 health. When he hits the board, he adds 4 random Murlocs to your hand. Now, Murlocs are not the best minions in the game. There are plenty of things more powerful than them, but they tend to have a lot of synergy with each other. And adding 4 cards to your hand that all work well together can be pretty clutch in the late game. And they also tend to be really cheap, which is important when Neptulon overloads you for 3. If you have Dr. Boom, I would probably swap him out for that, but I don't, so I'm using Neptulon. If nothing else, it's a great way to refill your hand in the late game after you've already played everything out. If you're just having a rough time keeping stuff on the board, Neptulon will refill your hand. Alright, so that is the Totem Shaman. So let's take him out and see what it can do. Alright, first opponent is a mage.
For Doomhammer.
Mages can be pretty tough. Doesn't really matter what variety it is. We definitely don't want Fire Elemental. Mana Tide is better later. X is better later. Pretty much only going to keep the Rockbiter weapon here. You almost always want to hold on to at least 1 Rockbiter in your opening. Alright. We'll take it slow. No need to coin out the Haunted Creeper right away. Especially since he didn't have a 1-drop. Let's see what he gets out of the portal. Ooh, that sucks. Okay, but fortunately we have an answer. We'll just play the Haunted Creeper, and then we'll use the coin to Rockbiter the Flame. Next turn we'll probably play another Creeper. Let's see. No, I can't kill that yet. You definitely don't want to leave a Flame Waker alive any longer than you have to. If he doesn't manage to kill both creepers and wipe out all the spiders that spawn out of them, we should be able to kill that Flame Waker. Ooh. Okay, it's a tough choice. Piloted Shredder, or Flame Tongue, and Totem Golem. don't really have a play for turn 5 anyway. You kind of don't want to play the Valiant by itself. So yeah, I think we'll do this. We will use the spiders to take out the Flame Wick. Yeah, that thing's hilarious. And we'll go ahead and play the Golem too, since we are not in Flame Strike danger yet. If he runs Arcane Explosion, that'll kind of suck, but yeah, I figured he would go with the Flame Tongue. And then he's gonna draw some cards, probably ping one of the spiders. He has a second one of those, that's really gonna suck. Nope. Ooh, an Earth Shock. Because if I Earth Shock, my only other play this turn is to Totem. And there's no guarantee I could kill what came out of the Shredder after I Earth Shocked it. Well, if I get a spell damage totem, I can kill it with one spider. Is that worth the risk? Alright, let's see what comes out of this Shredder.
There is little time.
That's no big deal. We'll waste a spider on that. Play our own Shredder. And then next turn we have the Fire Elemental. Hopefully that'll kill whatever the mage plays next. Okay, spending his whole turn clearing my board. Another unstable portal. Please don't be something good. Alright, we still have something on the board. Well, I kinda hate to use a Fire Elemental and just do 3 damage to the face. But we kinda gotta play something this turn. And this would survive a Flame Strike. Yeah.
No problem.
We gotta try really hard to maintain our board control. Please don't get charged. Ha! Suck it, Warhorse. Are you gonna Frostbolt? Okay. Another Flame Cannon. Wow. This guy just keeps drawing everything he needs. It's super annoying. Alright, we're gonna play the Thunderblood Valiant, Totem up. He'll probably end up using the horse and his hero power to kill the Valiant, which will suck, unless he's got a fireball. Yeah, we haven't seen any fireballs yet, so that could be trouble. Yeah, we're in bad shape so far, because it looks like the mage drew absolutely all of her early elimination spells. Please not Wind Fury. Fireball 2. This is just not our day. I'll use the Rock Rider to clear that. Let's It's not ideal to take another 7 damage to the face. We use the Earth Shock to kill Enhanso and summon another totem. Now we're just gonna hope that we can keep some totems on the board. That's gonna make it difficult. So, do we want to Earth Shock? And then Mukla? Yeah, that seems like a pretty good. Pretty good use of our resources. Probably gonna trade the Soot Spewer. Yeah. He has another one.
Behold the magnificent
Imran's head.
unit.
I haven't seen anybody play that in a long time, especially not on the ladder. That's crazy. Let's get a totem. That's a taunt totem. Yeah, I think we'll Argus these two. Because then I can use this Searing Totem to kill his Soot Spear. We just want to make sure that at the end of his turn, he does not have 3 mechs on him. Because that will cause major trouble for us against make Voltron. Flame Tongue, so that the defender can kill Imran's head. We'll summon another totem. And actually, I think we'll go ahead and kill the antique Healbot. No point trying to push for damage right now because we don't have any. We need to get some of our card draw right now. Azure Drake and a Snow Chugger. That kind of sucks. Ooh, that's a pretty good draw.
Witness the power of pure water.
2 Cold Light Oracles. That would be great, except I don't want to give him more cards. Alright, we're just gonna summon another totem. And then, we'll put 1 Murloc right here, so that when the Taunt Totem dies, the Murloc gets the buff.
Job done.
Hopefully he doesn't have a fireball. Looks like he does. Oh no, he's gonna sheep it. That also sucks for us. He's gonna have to kill this taunt totem first. I wonder what he's gonna use on it. I've already used both lightning storms this game, because if not, I could really use them right now. It's gonna take out the flame. Understandable. Ooh, another good draw. I think we're gonna kill the Snow Chugger with this. Yeah. Take that out so it can't freeze anything. We'll use the little Murloc, little dragon. Send these to face. And we'll play one more Murloc. Flame Strike is totally going to ruin our comeback, though.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Does he have another fireball? Ice Lance. He still has all these ways to freeze stuff. Unfortunately, it looks like we might have to let him draw some cards, too. Yeah, we need the cards. Sucks that he'll get cards too. Alright, let's see which totem we get off of Tuskar. Hoping the Flame Tongue, I guess. Alright.
Well played.
And then... hopefully we'll get a Taunt Totem out of here. No such luck.
There's little time.
He probably has a Flame Strike in here now, though.
Online.
No, just a Frostbite. Okay. He's gonna take out the Flame Tongue, I'm sure. Well, there's both the Lightning Storms. Where were you guys earlier? So our Fire Elemental's probably just gonna die without killing anything, unfortunately. Spell damage totem? Nope. No such luck. Alright then, I think what we do here is we're gonna use Tuskar, pop the Shredder. Of course it would be something with 4 health. Why would it ever be easy? Alright, let's hope our Lightning Storm rolls high. It does not. Alright, well we definitely gotta kill this Flame Waker. And we'll throw out our Manatide Totem to draw some more cards. With no cards in hand, we might have a chance here. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to play this Cold Light, which will give him more cards. That is not the card I need right now. I really don't want a Lightning Storm a second time. We're going to play the Lowly Squire, totem up. Ooh, the healing is good. We'll use this Searing Totem to kill his Clockwork Gnome. Yeah, we're just gonna have to take it slow here. And we still haven't seen a Flame Strike, which is really worrisome. But at least I know the only card he has left in his hand right now is a spare part. He's gonna use a time reminder on that.
I can ease your pain.
That seems like a waste of a spare part, but okay. Whatever you want to do, dude. Alright. Of course, we're gonna totem. Now our Squire can kill the Snow Chugger, so that's good. Play out the piloted Shredder. It's tempting to play another Mana Tide Totem so we can draw 2 cards. But then we get extra wrecked by Flame Strike. I think we have to do that. Because we need more cards, and I don't want to give him more cards at this point. That's what we needed. Thunderbluff Valiant. Now these totems are going to do some work. Ooh, even better. Okay, maybe I don't want to play the Totem Golem. Because that might be overextending against a possible Flame Strike. Send the Shredder into that. And everything else to face.
I'm almost out of cards.
Ooh, so we're getting low on
Cards.
So pretty much I gotta kill him next turn. That is unfortunate. But he can't kill the Valiant, so that's good news. But we are taking fatigue damage. So then we're gonna play the Golem. And Mukla.
Not push me!
Job done.
I'm almost out of cards.
Okay, so if he has another Flame Strike, I don't see how we're gonna win this. Dr. Boom, no big deal. Unless he has a taunt for it. Oh, he's gonna ping his own Boombot. Hope to get lucky. There you have it. It may have been a long, drawn-out battle, but our totems eventually overcame the maze.